What? Yeah. No, I'm behaving myself. No, I'm not playing in abandoned buildings. What? Again? Now, I suppose you had those people follow me again. Fine. Hey, this is Jimmy Pharaoh from Monte and the Pharaoh, and I want to thank all our subscribers. We have now passed 14,000 on our YouTube channel. But I want to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged member of Monte and the Pharaoh. Yeah, that's right, folks. There's 3 different levels to choose from. There's free shirts. There's free autographs. Just check it out and become a member of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh. Later.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh, seen only here at Indie Music TV. At the board is the producer, the man of the hour, only one to rival the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh. We've got Jared at the board. What's up, big guy?
How's it going?
That's the rival to the Pharaoh. How you doing, Spidey? What's going on, man?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
So, Pharaoh, while you were having a smoke, I just found out that Brian Pillman's Jr. and the ex-wife of Brian Pillman, Melanie Pillman, passed away. Oh. Melanie Pillman is a name familiar to wrestling fans as the wife to the late Brian Pillman. She was the forefront of the infamous Pillman's Got a Gun angle with Steve Austin. Melanie was awkwardly interviewed live on Monday Night Raw after Brian's death, sparking discussion over whether the company was exploiting the tragic passing. Thoughts on the passing of Miss Pillman?
Any idea what she passed from? She seems kind of young.
Well, she's not young, but she had many drug problems for
Really?
sure. She was a beautiful lady.
Yeah.
At some point, and well, I don't mean it like that, dude. What are you laughing about?
I clearly took it that way.
Obviously,
I think that's kind of.
I mean, we all get
rough.
a little weathered as we get older.
Weathered?
Yeah, and if you're doing...
There's an umbrella right behind me. I'm so weathered.
You know, but if you remember the Dark Side of the Ring with Pillman Jr., and actually I think the daughters too, there was a little bit of hatred going on for Mom at some point.
Wow. I'm not sure what to think about it. This is what happens when I take a smoke break. This is what, maybe I shouldn't take smoke breaks. This is not good. I don't know what to think about it. I mean, rest in peace, obviously. I bet it wasn't so easy being married to a wrestler in the first place. And Brian Pillman was a very intense guy, so I'm sure she.
Well,
had very interesting.
The
life,
story.
I'm sure.
He had a child, Pillman, with another lady.
Right.
He met Melanie, from what I understand, at a strip bar.
Okay.
He left his
As
wife.
I said, an interesting life.
Melanie forced Pillman to go for sole custody, which he won because I believe the first wife might have had, and again, don't hold me exactly the story, mental issues.
Right.
And eventually the ex-wife offed herself.
Wow.
And the daughter of the first wife, Pillman's daughter, hated Melanie for a very long time.
Ooh.
And then obviously after Brian Pillman passed, Melanie had many drug problems, and Brian Pillman Jr. had to endure the drug problems of his mother.
Wow. I wonder how Brian Pillman Jr. is feeling. Probably not too good.
Well, I saw a tweet where he said, thank you, Mom, for bringing me in this world. It didn't seem like super distraught. And to be honest with you, I think if my mom, which is gone, had passed away, and wouldn't be the first thing to go to Twitter.
I don't think you'd go anywhere near Twitter.
Or Facebook.
Or anything. But this is how everybody does things nowadays, just not us. Maybe there's some others like us, I hope.
But anyway, rest in peace, Miss Melanie Pillman. I want to give shout-outs to people in the room, and thank you again, guys, for joining us and gracefully always supporting us. Loose Cannon, out of there.
What up?
Chris Lee, the man.
Hello, mate.
The myth.
The legend.
The legend.
Yeah,
who is always kind, and, for your birthday, and now my birthday, which
What'd you get?
He sent us
What'd you get?
a gift. Same thing you got. Same gift.
What'd you get?
When your birthday came, you sent a gift too.
Yeah, but I can't remember because I'm brain dead.
Gave you $50.
He gave me money.
Yeah.
Wow, Chris, my birthday's tomorrow.
Wow, Chris, he forgot. He forgot about you.
My birthday's tomorrow, and I have another one next week.
Maria Davis in the house.
Maria.
Phil, always good to see you, buddy.
Phil.
Jason, the man. How are you? Don the Barber, baby. Go Celtics. These Boston fans are getting a little wild, huh?
Yeah, well, it's been a good couple of decades for them. It's a little role reversal. It's a kind of frustrating.
Do you hate Boston?
No, I don't. I've been to Boston. Boston's beautiful.
You're a liar.
No, I have been to Boston.
Listen,
and they didn't even ask me to leave.
Dude, you are anti-Boston.
Oh, you mean like their sports team?
Yes,
of course
not
I
Boston.
am. I thought you meant the city. The city's beautiful. I loved it. Fenway Park is awesome.
I'm talking about the sports team.
No, I can't stand them. They make me sick and want to vomit.
The Bruins.
I hate them. Going all the way back to Bobby Orr. Driving my poor Rangers crazy. Oh, Rangers! Woohoo! Anyway.
Red Sox.
I can't stand them. Nothing
Celtics.
but respect for, by the way, these teams you're naming. Though.
Celtics.
Can't stand them.
And probably the worst of them all.
Don't say the New England Patriots.
The worst of them all.
Hate them.
Oh,
what a
my
bunch
God.
of Johnny-come-latelys.
I'll tell you what.
Fuck that. When you've been around as long as we are, the Patriots, blech. I remember when they were the worst team in the division for decades.
Rick B in the house. How are you, Rick B? 802 Blues. Love you, brother. How are you?
A little bit.
And there's our man, Mitch Seinfeld. Good evening, sir. How are you? Always good to see you.
What up?
All right. A man in a wig was detained after throwing a piece of cake at the Mona Lisa. A man who seems to have been disguised as an old woman in a wheelchair threw a piece of cake at the Mona Lisa in Paris. Video posted on social media shows security guards at the what museum is that?
Where is
Louvre? I don't even know how to pronounce that. Escorting a man away Sunday as he's Louvre. Someone correct us. As he spoke French about the planet.
Can I?
Go ahead.
Think of the Earth. There are people who are destroying the Earth. Think about it. I'll just tell you. Think of the Earth. That's why I did this. Why does this French guy sound Russian?
He says, according to the Associated Press, another video showed someone cleaning the cake off the glass, protecting the Mona Lisa, as onlookers held their phone to film the incident aftermath.
Don't stop the guy.
The 36-year-old man was detained and sent to the psychiatric unit, according to AP.
I wonder why.
The original Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci between 1503 and 1519. The oil painting hangs in
Louvre,
largest room, according to the museum's website. This isn't the first time the iconic painting has run into trouble.
It's not.
The protective glass was put up there so it wasn't damaged by an acid attack in the 50s.
During the 1950s, somebody threw acid on
So
the Mona
we talk
Lisa.
about a lot of bad things.
She tripped for
but
weeks.
You found this very funny.
I thought
someone threw cake
I
at
think
the
that
picture.
this is, well, you know why I find it funny? Because Spidey alerted to me in the pre-show that it had a glass protective. And I thought to myself, yeah, it should. The damn thing's worth $1 billion. I find it hilarious that somebody sneaks in a wheelchair dressed as a woman with a wig on and throws cake. What is this, the Three Stooges? That is hilarious. What a dipshit. That's just, to me, that's funny. Think of the Earth. Mike, let me ask you a question. Are you going to think of the Earth now? Did they get their point across? They were trying to be very deep. Did you receive their message? Think of the Earth.
I did.
You know, this is what we do to the Earth. I'm buying the wig and everything. Is this a work or a shoot? This whole thing. This is awful. You gave me the story, dude.
I don't know. If you didn't know what that is, the start of the show, Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh.
Right. Oh.
Jimmy, how are you, pal?
I'm lovely. How are you?
I would like to thank the band that sings the theme song for Monte and Pharaoh, our own Jimmy Pharaoh, along with his partner, Bart Griggs.
Bart, man!
Make the band Wisteria Hall. Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain, and the theme song for Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Riding High.
Thank you.
You could find their music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page. We're asking people, please like and subscribe. Hit that like button. Go to Spotify, download their music. Apple Music, Reverb Nation. If you didn't know it, you are watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and Pharaoh. Catch them on the Monte and Pharaoh YouTube page, Monte and Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Here's on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Monte and Pharaoh Twitch TV page, Channel 115 here in New York every Tuesday at 9:30 and Saturday at 11:30, and Channel 20 Tuesdays at 1 a.m. Don't forget to support us on our 11:30 show as we are drastically fighting Saturday Night Live. Again, we want to thank Amazon Music for giving us the rights to have the Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast on their network. We will be right back with a this is
really big show?
This is a real big show with something we call Uneasy. Lies the head that wears the crown.
We'll see you in a royal second.
Dino Luzzi Energy Drink. Yeah, it's that good.
In the mood for a freshly roasted cup of coffee? www.offtherailscoffeeroasters.com. Jimmy, I gotta take a dump.
What?
No, I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, Monte and Pharaoh, seen only here out of Indie Music TV in Long Island. We want to thank our new sponsor, Dino Luzzi Energy Drink, adding to our long list of sponsors. Pharaoh, you like that stuff?
I love this stuff. This stuff is awesome. I drink like tons of this stuff.
Doesn't get you all jacked up? Like, what is different between Dino Luzzi Energy Drink and, say, Monster?
The taste.
Really?
I really like the taste more. This is kind of like very sweet, but it's not loaded with shit. So I prefer it. I'd like a big giant can though. Can we get like?
I'm gonna have to ask.
Larger cans.
Anyway, out there, if you're interested in energy drinks, by all means, Dino Luzzi Energy Drink. I can't drink energy drinks because I had a heart attack about a year ago, and I can't really take that chance. So, but again, I hear this
something
is
in there.
well,
This is to the ticket.
kind of jacks you up a little bit.
Oh
right?
yeah, it does jack you up.
And from what I heard from people that have tried it,
Jacks you up all around.
it's a little bit different, right? Because I guess the can is made differently.
Okay.
So there's no metal residue like when you maybe drink a beer or some of these other energy drinks. It's the can is made differently from what I understand.
It's really cool. Have you seen the Dino Luzzi Energy Drink van? It's outside. That thing is badass.
Is it badass?
It's badass.
Are you gonna drive it around the neighborhood?
It's like the mystery
Pick up
machine.
chicks
Yeah, I probably could.
in the Dino Luzzi van.
Yeah. Hey, baby, want an energy drink? Yeah, there you go. You're making this out like I'm some sort of demented ice cream guy. Hey, baby, Rant, want some ice cream?
Hey, little girl, you want some Dino Luzzi energy
Now
drink?
it's a little girl. You're making this worse and worse.
Would you stop by like school bus stops and be like, Dino Luzzi,
No,
come on in.
I go past senior citizen centers and I go, want a boost, lady? Why not?
All right, guys. Well, it finally happened. What I was not looking forward to, but you know what? I guess you just can't stop what eventually is going to happen. Your man, Phil Brooks,
He's my man again.
has now become the new AEW champion over his win on Sunday over Hangman. Do they call him Hangman or do they call him Cowboy now?
He's like, yeah, he's both, I guess.
Whatever.
Adam.
Hangman Page.
Yeah.
Did you flip out, Mr. CM Punk lover guy?
What? How did I go back to being a CM Punk
I don't
lover
know.
guy?
I just like to play with you.
Destroying him for like months now.
Were you
He was one
were
of
you
my
actually
all-time
I know
favorites.
he was one of your all-time
He still
favorites.
is. He's still got his little
So
section.
you were
where I
were you
love him.
happy? Like, you know what? I'm so glad.
Honestly, I am happy for him, and I'm happy that they did the right thing because he's going to bring in more ratings than Hangman Adam Page. How many? I don't know. Am I pessimistic about it? Yes, I am. Let's see what happens.
Well, I will tell you this:
I still think it's a good move.
The first thing I thought was, this is perfect, right? It's put up a shut-up time.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
They spent all this money on this guy.
Exactly.
He's here. You want to
Right.
be this next big thing.
Yep. Yep.
Obviously, the ratings have been stagnant all the way from Jericho
Right.
through Moxley,
Right.
through Hangman Page. I'm sorry, what's his name? The guy who wrestles dolls. Then
Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega, Hangman Page.
The guy who wrestles.
And
dolls.
now you said, you know what? This is the guy that's going to get us over the hump. And we're going to, we're dedicating this show to CM Punk because we're going to go through some of the things that CM Punk says, and we want you guys to weigh in. We're going to weigh in, and, let's see what's going to come about, right?
Sure.
So, all right.
Hit it.
So, what does this mean, Pharaoh, for AEW? CM Punk is now their champion. What do you foresee the future being for AEW as Phil is holding on to their very prestigious title?
Well, because that Punk is a purist and believes in his way of a certain kind of approach to booking. If they do it with his input and his approval, I have a feeling that from a purist standpoint, it's going to be good. And he's going to have some excellent opponents, and they're going to have some great matches, and they'll have good promos, and everything will be fine. I don't think that it's going to turn it from a 1 or a 965,000 rating into a 2. It all depends on how good they are with the storylines and how effectively they can pull them off. Maybe they'll get up to a 1-4, maybe a 1-5 if things are going really well. But I don't see this turning into, okay, putting the strap on a 40-something-year-old CM Punk is going to now elevate us to the point where Hogan cut the NWO promo and the other company was beating Vince. No, don't see it.
Look, we got to take WWE out of this cage, out of this whole equation.
Impossible.
You have to take it out of the equation.
Won't do it.
Why?
Because the wrestling landscape commands that you pay attention to the New York Yankees no matter what team or
But
what place you
The
root
New
for.
York Yankees are no
you have
longer
to.
the New York Yankees. They're beyond that. It's not.
They're not. The
It's not
Yankees.
a wrestling company anymore.
Right.
It is a
It's an
the
entertainment
WWE
We know that.
fights against network television,
NFL.
against NBA,
NBA,
NFL,
NHL
right?
playoffs, MLB.
AEW is
not fighting against
is a
those guys.
wrestling company.
It is.
I would say
Right.
if you're going to really, how can AEW separate themselves further from the impacts, and this is kind of a joke in a
Right.
way, but
Right.
impacts the MLWs and the
Right.
NWAs. How
Right.
could they get
They're
a
all-
more distance?
In my mind, they're already, like you said, it is a bit of a joke. They're already way separated from that. I consider AEW the most serious second company since WCW's demise.
who
I do see
would
that.
be the third? New Japan?
You mean currently in the landscape of the world?
Take WWE
I would
out of it.
Honestly, okay. I would love to see the numbers because something tells me that New Japan draws on a more successful level than AEW.
Well, it's clear to me
Tokyo
that
Dome is no
I don't,
joke.
I don't think that's even...
Wrestle Kingdom is no joke.
I respect what you're saying, but I
Yeah.
can't imagine that being possible with the fact that New Japan now is working a co-show with AEW.
Right, they're doing that, but do you realize how much prying? I don't know if you're familiar with the way.
No, I'm not.
Okay, the New Japan ownership is very proud and won't do crap with you if they think there's nothing in it for them. They actually are the Japan Vince.
Well, that's
in certain
but that's my
ways.
point. They need
Right.
AEW to help them.
They're only doing it because they would like to get a little more exposure here in America.
Gotcha. So
They
you can
are
have
so
shows here.
set in Japan, and they don't really do so bad when they try to go to other places.
Okay.
I actually think that in my mind, New Japan is the second biggest company in the world.
Barbara says Impact.
What about Impact?
I guess she's saying that they're the number one company with the WWE out of the
Not
equation.
if it, well, business level, absolutely not. Not anymore. Impact back in 2007, 8, 9, or even when they brought in Hogan to try to have Monday Night Wars, they were on Spike TV. They were, at the time, number 2 in America. I don't think that they were ever bigger than New Japan. People who don't know New Japan should probably check it out, because you'd realize the enormity of how big it is over there. And their WrestleMania, quote unquote, is at the Tokyo Dome, and it usually gets 60 to 80,000.
Do you think the
It's a lot of
WWE
fans.
is separated itself farther away from AEW than AEW has separated themselves, say, from Impact or New Japan?
That's
when
a
you talk
great
about when you're
question.
talking about
Yeah, well,
grass.
actually, I think the distance from AEW to WWE is the same as the distance that AEW has just created between themselves and the Ring of Honors and the NWAs and all those other little guys.
so you're saying
Smaller guys.
that
They're in the middle.
they're in the middle.
They're in the middle.
All right,
You know?
that's fair enough.
Yeah, that's where I feel they are.
Fair enough. So CM Punk wins the title. Mm-hmm. All's well in the world. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And then they have a media scrum with Tony Khan. So I'm going to read a few things from there, and I need you to weigh in on it.
Okay.
Now, again, it's called a media scrum.
Okay.
I don't want to call it a press conference, because I don't think it's a press conference. I think it would be more of like you and me and some other wrestling websites in there just asking questions, right? Like
Right.
there's no like hardcore.
By the way,
reporters.
it's interesting to tie in further to hammer home. New Japan does have some influence on American wrestling. That press conference type thing you see on AEW is copy for copy the way New Japan's been doing it for years. They make it feel like you're at an actual after-game interview with the press. That New Japan's been doing that for years. So they basically took that from New Japan.
So, by the way, I
And
think
it's cool,
and
by
I
the
actually
way.
think it's kind of
I
cool.
think it's very cool.
It gives you the sport feel.
Very cool.
So I'm going to read this to you, and I need you to weigh in. Punk says his 7 years out of the ring weren't wasted, but his years in the WWE were wasted. And he reached the potential he could have with the limitations that the WWE puts on wrestlers. And in AWA, there are no limits put on wrestlers.
Sure.
Punk says he chipped a tooth during the match. Punk was then asked, all right, so we'll stop there. Let's stop there.
Yeah, please stop there, because I'm getting sick. Okay? Let me jump on this. His 7 years out of the ring weren't wasted. Okay, number one, Phil, when you were gone for 7 years, your fans missed you. You were wasting their emotions for 7 years. They were waiting and waiting and waiting for you. And you're basically like, fuck it. Which I don't think is very cool. And then he reached, as far as his potential he could have had with the limitations. Let's hammer home some limitations of what it was like for poor CM Punk to be working for Vince McMahon and the biggest company in the world when it comes to professional wrestling entertainment. Okay, 434-day reign as the world champion. Then he gets upset because he's not in the main event, supposedly. Well, if anybody can remember, CM Punk gets to fight at WrestleMania The Undertaker in one of the 5 best Undertaker WrestleMania matches in his streak. Punk is part of this. How the hell is a 434-day reign, which is 25 years in the making as far as the longest reign at that time, how is that, and fighting The Undertaker at WrestleMania in one of the best matches Taker ever had, and he said it himself? How is this a waste? Your entire WWE career is why most of us know you. How bitter can you be? Okay, you didn't get to beat Triple H. We all know you should have probably done that. You talk about moving on. Didn't he tell Tony to move on? But we'll be getting to that too.
We'll get to that.
Well, if anybody should not be saying move on, it's Phil. Phil can't move on. And I don't get it at all. So I completely, I want to puke hearing this.
The big point of this whole thing is CM Punk is now cashing his checks.
Of course.
And guess what? Mm-hmm. If he doesn't succeed, who's he going to? Is he going to take ownership?
He's going to blame somebody. That's what he does.
Because that's his MO.
That's his MO.
He's fine. Look.
Hey, and by the way, this opinion, Mike, is from us. Is straight edge. I just wanted to throw that in.
That's fair.
That's a straight edge opinion. That is his MO. He's never happy.
Listen, I like the fact that he's bringing it now.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Tony are all in. Like, you couldn't use the word better all in. They've laid their cards now. This is the only guy, right? This is the only guy they feel can do, and he's saying he's going to get the job done. And, again, I'm not...
They better let him have a lot of input, so this way it is on him.
Do you think it's...
I want them to give him complete input so he can now blame himself.
Do you think... You really think it's a good idea... that to let a wrestler run his own angles?
It depends on the wrestler and the timing and the moment. In general, I would say absolutely
Well, you
not.
keep on saying that,
I
hey,
would
Punk.
say absolutely not. But I never would have told Hulk Hogan during 1985, 86, 87, 88. I never would have told Hulk Hogan, shut up and sit in the corner. We got this. You do what we tell you. That would have been really dumb, because then I would be Vern Gagne.
Let me ask you something. What limitations did
careful.
the WWE put on?
I don't think any. I think at the end of the day, what I would respect a lot more is if CM Punk got on his Twitter or got on the microphone and said, here's my real beef. Triple H is a dick. Vince McMahon is a dick. I didn't agree with the way they booked me, but I wasn't suppressed. I was well paid, and now everybody knows who the fuck I am. This doesn't change the fact that I think they're dicks. Can't you just do that? But you know what? He's smart the way he does this. He complains every day, and he gets eyes on him, and everybody. It's week after week with this soapbox guy.
So there's a GIF out there. I'm glad you brought Triple H out.
Yeah.
There's a GIF out there that says, childhood is when you idolize CM Punk. Adulthood is when you realize Triple H made more sense.
Triple H is the man.
Triple H did not like Phil Brooks.
That's right.
He didn't like the way Phil Brooks did business.
He didn't like Jericho.
Didn't like Jericho.
He doesn't like smaller guys.
But I don't forget this.
It's part of it, though.
You think that's part of the deal?
We cannot ignore that. It's definitely part of it. I mean...
Wow, I didn't think about it that way.
Triple H does not like certain guys, and they usually seem to be smaller. Don't you remember when Jericho first got here? People forget this. Vince made him wear platform shoes. He had like high heels almost, if you took a look, like kiss boots.
By the way, Barbara says, Punk knows it's a limited run.
Right. I believe that. I can see that, but at the same time, I wonder if they'll let him hold it for a very, very long time.
She also says AEW really has high ticket prices.
Do they really? What are they in comparison? I'd love to see the comparison.
Phil says, I saw Punk on his last night in the WWE on SmackDown Live in Massachusetts.
Okay.
He stayed around after the cameras were off.
Okay.
And the people were leaving to shake hands and talk to the people.
I'm not surprised.
Myself included.
That's cool. I'm not surprised.
ESO in the house, Dave in the house. Good to see you, buddy.
You know what? That's actually good to hear that Punk does this, for fans. That's good. At least he's got that going on, because that would really be hypocritical.
Jacob says no one would know CM Punk if it was not for the WWE.
I believe that's where almost all of his fame comes from. And if anybody thinks that it comes from Ring of Honor or something like that, not to insult the purists, but wake up,
Here's the thing. Phil's angry with the WWE for a few things. And probably the biggest thing had to be he was so upset over the fact that he had to drop the strap to Dwayne Johnson and not get his WrestleMania moment. But this is where Phil makes his mistakes. This was in the works for a year. Somewhere in Phil's mind, he thought he was good enough to stop that program from happening.
Right.
And when it didn't happen, what did he do? He sat there and he cried.
Right.
And he's doing the same thing now.
Right.
Phil, look, I want to read it again, and I want people to listen, and I want you to listen again, because we got to talk about this. 7 years out of the ring wasn't wasted, but his years in the WWE were wasted, and he reached the potential he could have with the limitations that the WWE puts on its wrestlers.
Disagreement between the booker.
And in AEW, there are no limits put on wrestlers.
Bullshit.
But here's the thing.
Bullshit.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
He has now said, I have no limitations.
Right.
Anything that happens from this point forward, success or failure,
Right.
It's all on him.
That's right.
And,
it's on him anyway. It's on him anyway.
But if he succeeds,
good for him.
And everybody's like, you know what?
Good
Monte
for
the
him.
Pharaoh didn't know what they were talking about.
Right.
How can he turn around after making this statement and when he fails, and he's going to fail?
He's not going to get to that level that he thinks he is. I agree.
He's-
Not at this point in his career.
Listen,
Right.
if it's success, okay,
I already think I know who his successor is, by the way.
who's it going to be?
Is it, what, you don't think it'll be that Goldberg guy, do you?
No.
No, it won't be. It'll be Kenny Omega when he comes back. He's going to take the belt from CM Punk. And it's going to be delicious because he'll be a
They're
bad
just
guy.
going to go right back to that?
Good night.
No way, dude. You
Well,
can't.
what are you going to do when Kenny Omega comes back? Put him on a B card? They're not going to do that. He'll come back with like bells and whistles. He's Kenny Omega. Maybe he'll come back with a blow-up doll.
Anyway.
Give it a drop kick.
Later on in this scrum,
Okay. Scrum.
there's a question asked about.
Scrum.
They ask CM Punk about his Twitter war with Eric Bischoff.
All right. Eric Bischoff.
Tony
Okay.
Khan responded to this. Khan responded with a series of curses to Bischoff's claim that Punk has been a financial flop. Tony Khan has responded with a colorful rant. Eric Bischoff claims that CM Punk has been the biggest financial flop in the history of wrestling. That's a shit opinion. It's the most bullshit opinion I've ever heard.
That's-
Khan said, that's fucking bullshit.
Ooh, Tony.
The only one person that can attest to that. I don't know what other people. I can only attest to what's happened here and public record. And some of these things are a matter of public record, Khan said. We do not have, over the years, a good amount of financial data in pro wrestling. I can tell you, no one wrestler has ever come in and made a bigger delta financial difference in the history of the company, Khan said of Punk.
Right.
This is the 3rd year anniversary this week, going into year 4. No one person has ever made more of a positive impact. We just did a record pay-per-view. Every pay-per-view he's done, 4 pay-per-views cycled now. Every one of them was a record, Khan continued. Whether it was All Out, where he was in a huge part of the draw with Darby Allin in his debut, of course.
Darby Allin. Ugh, boy.
So, again,
right.
I'm going to reiterate, tell me when he says that he has been the financial difference in this company. So I'm going to say this before you speak. Are we talking, Tony Khan, that you were in the red for such a long time and now you're kind of scraping to the black? Is that how you're supposed to present it? Has CM Punk been the biggest financial flop in the history of professional wrestling?
I can't answer that question because, like, I don't know. I don't have their numbers. Do I think that CM Punk, on a surface of believability, do I think that CM Punk has probably made them more money than John Moxley? If they are making any money,
Right.
then do I think he's made more money than Moxley, Daniel Bryan, and Chris Jericho? Maybe not Jericho. I'm not so sure about that. But I would say Punk has probably made more money than the rest of them. So what is he? But what kind of money are we talking? It's too great for me, you know. And Bischoff must know what he's saying somewhat. Why would Bischoff say that though? I don't think he's the biggest financial flop unless they close down a year from now.
Well, how many years is Punk with AEW now? Say a year? About?
Yeah, something like that. Not long. Not
Okay.
long.
Has his first year with the company been a success in the Pharaoh's mind?
I think so. I don't think that it's been a failure. And how could it be a failure? You and I both decided that it was a good business decision to put the belt on him this past week.
You have to. You're going nowhere.
Right.
You're stagnant.
Right.
Let's get it real, folks. This isn't
Right.
old school wrestling. I was speaking to Mitch today. Mm-hmm. And wrestling's different now, right? It's a television show.
Yeah, sure.
More than it is anything else.
Right.
You know, you go back to the Attitude Era, the WWE survived off of house shows. Or the WCW would have put them out of business.
Interesting.
The difference was WCW didn't do house shows. Rarely did house shows.
Not enough of them.
The WWE was still wrestling 6 times a week.
All the time.
Right?
Yep.
So they
all
were
the
making
time.
money off house shows. In this case, this is a television show.
Right.
And you've been stagnant. Look, Rampage is a mess on Friday nights.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I don't care. Anybody wants to spin it. There's no one watching. First of all, it's a
No.
bad time slot. It's
Yeah.
a Friday night.
I think it's meh.
And AEW's got its core wrestlers.
Right.
Does CM Punk bring on other... Maybe it draws a little WWE crowd.
Honestly, I think CM Punk has been keeping them where they are. I think if there's no CM Punk, they're starting to slip down into the 8s. Maybe the 7s.
So you're saying him as champion means absolutely nothing?
At the end of the day, I think it means something to AEW, but I don't think that it's going to mean that much in the big picture unless The scripts are really killer. And that's all I can say. I don't know where we're going to go with him. I don't know how he's going to be as a champion or who he's going to defend it against or how interesting the scripts are going to be. You know, again, I think it's silly for them to think that this is going to be a world beater at the age of 40, whatever it is. So,
why do you think I hate Punk so much?
Because
I didn't like him in the WWE either. You knew that too, right?
Because he's not a big dude. I know what you usually normally. I'm not gonna give you that broad a paintbrush, but I think that usually you go for big shit kickers. You like big ass mofos who could probably push your car over when they're mad. Okay, CM Punk looks like a gym teacher. CM Punk looks like, a regular dude almost, basically. And he's also got that smack me in the face that you just want to slap across the room.
I'm gonna give you one thing about him, right? When he came out at one of the shows, he
or at least
had
I did when he was in his
the
prime.
anti-abortion shirt on.
Yeah, shut up.
I was pissed, right?
Yeah,
we talked about it.
What are you doing?
But I thought about it. I was thinking about our show, and I said, "What do? We interview guys, and we
let
ask
people
them
say whatever the hell
they want, and their personal opinions. Sometimes we don't even talk about wrestling at all." And I said to myself, "Mike, you're really wrong about this. You know what? He has a right to."
He has a right to do that, but that wasn't our objection that he had his opinion. Our objection was just don't bring it into wrestling.
Yeah, wrestle and do it on your side.
Can't we just enjoy the things that are supposed to be fun? That was my only
Here's
point.
my biggest problem with CM Punk, and it's always been. When he was even a wrestler in the WWE, the one thing that's great about wrestling nowadays and in the past is a lot of things you heard were real, just turned up. CM Punk is a whiny baby.
Yeah,
if you watch his documentary, he blames his father for leaving him, why his life was like this.
Right.
He blamed, then he left his house and lived with some other girl or their family.
Yeah, I'm sure he had a rocky upbringing.
But again, always the blame, always the victim, always the victim.
Right.
And you know what?
So
here's the fact, CM Punk. As much as you
Never
wanted to be,
that way.
you're not The Rock.
Right.
You're not John Cena. In fact, CM Punk, you're not even close to them. It is so far away from each other. CM Punk, you are one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Yeah, he's a great wrestler.
All right?
He's great.
But you're talking like number 50.
Yeah.
The Rock is number 4.
Right.
John Cena's number 5.
Right. Do I hear
whatever?
Do I hear Ric Flair? Do I hear Hulk Hogan?
Right. That's my point.
Do I hear Dusty Rhodes? Do I hear
Macho Man? Let me ask you this, because this is where I got a little confused. Khan talks about Punk being responsible for winning the Friday Night War.
What?
What is the fuck is the Friday Night War?
I didn't think there was one. There was SmackDown getting a billion people, and there was this hour thing.
No, there was the one time SmackDown was on like Sci-Fi because they had something going on Fox.
Right.
And they were on their programming on a Friday night. Rampage.
Oh.
Whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, no, I don't see this at all. This is.
How do you call that a war?
That's not a war. That's
it's just programming.
It's not even a thumb wrestling match.
So you went on.
War.
Khan is going crazy, and Punk actually tells him, all right, enough, move on.
Right.
And I think to myself, would anyone have done that to Vince McMahon?
No. Remember that time that Titus O'Neil tried to hey, let Stephanie go first? Did you just touch me?
Yeah.
You're suspended.
Let me ask you this question.
God.
Wasn't that telling in itself that the wrestler feels he can tell the owner of the company to shut up? Basically said, shut up.
That's because this weekend Tony's having a barbecue and everybody's going to do cannonballs in his pool. You see what happens when you become one of the boys?
Does Tony
Does Tony
have the respect of the wrestlers?
No, I think they like him. There's a difference between like and respect, bro.
Same as Dixie Carter, then.
No, her they wanted to bang, and she wanted to bang them. So that's even worse. And I'm not telling a lie here. She was pretty obvious about it, too. So no.
So what's the level? It's just, I like the guy?
I think that's what it is. Isn't he a swell guy? He pays us good. This is WCW, man. They might as well just go hang out at the health spot.
All right, here's something that bothered me. Early in the conversation, you said, okay, this will work. Put Punk in good matches.
If they
okay.
do these
Here's my question.
Things, but work on what level?
Who's in that organization from the wrestle?
Well, I know that there's matchups that the fans there are going to want to see. Punk and Daniel Bryan, obviously, with, we've already, Kenny Omega when he comes back, Chris Jericho. Who's going to get tired of that? They could rehash old memories. There's opponents.
Jason says, I'll finally pay attention to the war when AEW finally pulls a rating number that doesn't start with the decimal point.
Right. Once in a while they break over the million plane, and that's good.
What match turns you on with CM Punk?
I actually want to see when Omega comes back. I want to see Punk and Omega, but that's me. I happen to like Kenny Omega. What do I know?
You're not excited about him and Okada?
That would be fantastic. But is Okada going to be around to do something like that? Okada's like the man in Japan.
How about Takahashi?
Tanahashi, I'd rather not. I'll pass. Tanahashi, I'm kind of burnt out on Tanahashi.
Will Ospreay?
Ospreay's a tremendous wrestler. I don't know how Phil would even be able to stay in the same ring with him. Will Ospreay is AJ Styles on steroids. Will Ospreay is a flip-flop festival.
How about Moxley?
That would be cool. They could kill each other. That would be fine. There are some interesting matchups.
All right,
Not
so
bad.
we're in the AEW Summer of Punk. Can this Summer of Punk?
Oh my God!
Can this Summer of Punk match the WWE Summer of Punk?
Never. No way. Not in a million years. It's raining in the summertime. That's what I say. But if you're a pure CM Punk lover and you're all in on this, get it? You'll have a great time with it. It's your last hurrah. Enjoy it. That's how I would say that.
You got your last $10,000. You got to pay the mortgage on your house.
Okay. I have a house. This is great.
You owe $100,000. The only way to make that money now, and you only have a week to do it, is put the money on Punk to fail or Punk to succeed and AEW to succeed.
On what level? Please tell me the level.
They hold a 1.4 million rating for 4 months.
No, they will not. I am not betting on that.
With that, we'll take a quick commercial break where we'll return, and I'm going to speak to Pharaoh about maybe what some people call the greatest promo of all time on Wednesday night, MJF.
Tired of that same old breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Same old tasting scrambled eggs, burger, that dinner steak, ribs, or pork chops? Why not add a little bit of spice or just a touch of heat to make the difference? Change that scrambled egg with a little bit of Johnny Fabulous's John Cena Sr.'s $1 Million Jalapeno Hot Sauce. Great on burgers, steaks, chops, and those barbecued ribs.
The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah. And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monte the Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV. A couple of comments, Pharaoh. Barbara says, Adam Cole might get a run. He's pretty over.
I would like to see that. I think Adam Cole's big time, but what do I know?
Jay Will says, indeed, AEW is WCW 2.0 down to the announcers. They might as well be bringing in Scott Hudson.
And the Nitro Girls. Remember the Nitro Girls?
I do.
Did you like the Nitro Girls?
The best part of the show.
Oh, boy.
RJ Hudson. It won't be 2011 Summer of Punk because it's nothing new from CM Punk.
Correct. That is very true. Rehash. Yep.
Rick B says, John Cena Sr. hot sauce. Woo! He actually got a bottle.
Nice.
You need to give us a review there, Ricky.
By all means.
Phil says, I imagine it's like getting your arm knocked away in 2000. I don't know what they're talking about here. I guess it's like in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah.
Jacob says, I find MJF much more interesting than CM Punk. MJF is worth talking about. CM Punk seems a little stale to me.
Okay.
And Tony Gurria says, no one man.
Wait, what?
Tony Gurria.
Tony Gurria?
Tony Gurria says no one man should have as much power as the Pharaoh does.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Mr. Gurria. Thank you. And for all your tag team title reigns, too.
Jacob says CM Punk versus Adam Cole, Wimp versus Wimp, which they've done Wimp versus Wimp in this pay-per-view.
Now tilting the scales at 142.
All right, so last night,
Man.
MJF had something that some are considering the greatest pro wrestling promo in the history of pro wrestling promos.
That was blistering.
Pharaoh,
I loved it.
weigh in, brother.
I thought it was fantastic. Well, folks, for you folks at home, it started earlier in the other day where you try to reach me in so many different ways.
I did.
Yeah, like a text pops up on my phone. I'm at work. I see this thing on my ear. I'm like, I'm at work? I'm like, what is going on? Call me. I was busy, folks. Anyway, he's telling me about this amazing promo, and I thought to myself, wow, if Mike got into it, I guess this must have been pretty damn good. Go home, check it out. Holy crap. As far as emotion go, and as far as the rush I got out of it, that was one of the best damn things I've ever seen. You know? And when I came in to talk to you earlier today here at the studio, I was like, I think that might be the best damn pipe bomb type promo I've ever seen. That was fantastic. Exquisitely done. Loved it. What'd you think?
So, and I want the fans to weigh in on this too. My thought process was great. Could have been the greatest promo ever, but then I started to evaluate, right? Because I felt like, you know what? To be fair, in my opinion, my whole thought process is get MJF to the WWE, right? That's what I'm thinking. And then I'm thinking to myself, but if he goes there, you're not going to get the guy that you're all falling in love with, right?
Watered down. He'll be watered down.
And so maybe that's not what you're looking for.
Right.
And then I thought to myself, is MJF, look, obviously younger, trying to make a name for himself, very smart, quick-witted. But is he really better at promos than Seth Rollins, Edge, The Miz, Roman Reigns? Just, again, he has an unfair advantage. He's on a show where he can drop every curse word, anything.
Right.
And as a WWE wrestler, you're handicapped, right? You can't do some of the stuff.
Sure.
We discuss, I'm going to let you take over from here, but... at WrestleMania, they were talking about having Lesnar and Reigns bleed. And Nick Khan told Vince, you can't do this.
Right.
We've done a lot of work getting us to this point.
Right.
We're a billion-dollar company.
Right.
We don't want to be known as a wrestling company, those guys who bleed.
Right.
Right?
They're going away from that. Right.
They've been away for it for a long time.
It's one of those things that they have gone away from.
So, after I say all this, is this the greatest promo of all time?
No, it can't be the greatest promo of all time because there's so many that are, historically impactful. And this being, the fact that it just happened, history's going to, time is going to judge where it sits. But I thought it was fantastic. One way or the other, I thought it was fantastic. It gave me a rush I haven't felt in a very long time as far as when someone talks. Now, if he's like the names you brought up, like, those names you threw at me from the current WWE roster, the MJF in AEW is better than a lot of them, but again, that's because he's free. He's not crutched with the approach that WWE uses, the PG-13 type approach. But is MJF just as great a talker, if not better, than all these guys you're naming? Yeah, but that's because he's in that state. If he does come to the WWE, and he will be watered down, the only way he can pull it off is as long as they're not embarrassing him with the scripts, he can still pull it off because he has great conviction, great tonality. His aura reeks of F you, hate me, I'm an ass. So he could find ways where the F-bombs become other things just as effectively said.
Chris Lee wants to know.
He's got a shot.
Chris Lee wants to know, is MJF better than Damian Kane on the stick?
Than Damian Kane?
Yeah.
I'm better than Damian Kane on his stick. And now he's going to come in here and he's going to beat you up because you almost dared him to get out of character and answer a question. Where he was just like, no, I'm staying right here in 1995 and I'm not leaving. So there's your answer.
Do you think? Look, in my heart of hearts, I feel that MJF,
Yeah.
the things he's saying, he feels.
I think he does too.
Right?
Very interesting.
But, he goes to WWE and he becomes a multimillionaire.
Right.
Does he have that same anger, that fire?
Listen, it's a performance, and if you're truly a professional, it doesn't matter whether you're being given, and I know you're going to have a hard time believing this, but it doesn't matter if you're being given $5 or $5 million. When you're a pro and you love what you do it. So I would tend to think that if he's as good as he seems to be, he'll just continue to do what he does so well and make more money. Oh, geez, I can't say the F word or the S word, but I could still call somebody,
Jay Will says the Jay Lethal, Ric Flair TNA exchange was better.
Oh, my God, it was hilarious. I don't know about better. It was completely different, but, yeah. It was
Dusty
great.
Rhodes' hard time. Jay Will, you're absolutely
There
right.
you go. There's one right
All right,
there.
so Jay Will is driving us this game.
Right.
So
Here comes Hulk Hogan.
So here we go.
With the NWO
I'm
promo.
gonna give it to the fans out there. Tell me which one's better. Just weigh in better.
Oh,
Pharaoh, weigh in better.
It's
You ready?
obvious where we're going.
Here we go.
Go ahead.
Don't throw rocks at a man with the machine gun.
Don't throw rocks. That's Roddy Piper.
That's Roddy Piper.
Is it better than that? Don't get ridiculous here. That's Roddy Piper talking.
All right, hard times, like Jay
It's
Will
Dusty
says.
Rhodes talking, but again, this is so unfair to
I hate you,
Jacob
Hulk
Freeman.
Hogan.
Oh, forget it, man. Macho Man, stop. Scott Hall, you know who I am. What you don't know is what I'm doing here. Fling. I mean, come on. What are we talking here? I still think it's a great effing promo. For its time period, it will be judged as one of the best. As far as this current scene that we've got, I think it'll be judged as one of the best from its generation, if not the best.
Total Disaster says the Pharaoh shows off his college education
Here we go again.
by talking down, to the common man
Is that what I'm doing?
and showing off those fancy clothes.
Hey, I got.
Sorry, guys. I got something going on with my computer. I can't. I'm having trouble
it's
reading
purple.
it.
You should see this thing. It's awful. Yes, I got this shirt over at Huffman Coos in New Jersey. It's a very rich. Oh, they went out of
All
business
right,
30 years
back
ago.
to MJF.
Yeah, what do you got?
My other problem with MJF is he tries his damnedest to be a heel, and he's really not
good
a
at it.
heel.
Yes, he is. He's a great heel.
He's not a great heel.
He's a prick.
He's not a great heel.
He is to me.
You got fans cheering him. He's not
That's
a great heel.
because he's a cool heel. Don't you? I tell you this all the time. Scott Hall was a bad guy. The NWO were bad guys. Scott Hall was a bad guy. They loved him. He's a cool heel. Some of them happen to go into that. Maxwell Jacob Freeman is a rare thing in this business. He's a rare thing because he can get cheers, he can get boos. He plays a villain, and he's getting the reaction from everybody. Every single person, when he comes in and he does his spiel and he does it perfectly, they all give him an emotional reaction. Winner.
So then I ask you this.
Get him, Vince.
Why don't you just put
Get him.
the AEW title
They
on
should.
MJF?
Maybe they're afraid of him
Why are they afraid of him?
because he'll do it and say whatever the fuck he wants. Maybe they're afraid of him. Did you ever think about that?
It's not marketable.
I think he's very unmarketable.
Is the Miz
He'll
marketable?
sell a lot of shirts, though.
Is
They'll-
the Miz
they'll buy
mar-
his
is the
shirts
Miz
anyway.
marketable?
Yeah, the Miz is more family, friendly.
There's my point. So maybe,
But I'd rather have MJF.
but
Sorry.
maybe, yeah, you would.
Still would rather have him.
Do you think Nick Khan wants MJF? I really got to be honest with you. As much as I like to see, I was thinking to myself, if I was writing for the WWE,
Right.
I would bring back that Piper's Pit format.
Right.
Forget doing it in the ring.
Right.
Do something on a stage and do that Piper Pit format with MJF.
Wow.
Okay, but that's
Wow.
me. Okay,
I
but,
love that.
but the thing
Let's do it.
is that you're running this company. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Let me break down the Mike Monte basics for who should be working for Vince according to how you usually look at a wrestler.
Sure.
Is this guy big enough for you? Because he's built pretty good.
Yeah. He
Okay,
is.
so he's big enough for you. Is he serviceable in the ring like your hero John Cena?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd say he's.
Might even be a little bit better than that.
I'd say he's like three-star wrestler.
Well, thank you, Dave Meltzer.
There you go.
There you go.
Appreciate
He's
that.
not looking for that though. He's not looking for stars. Didn't
That's
you
what he
hear
said.
his?
He
Didn't
said
you
that.
hear?
But
he doesn't give
if
a
I had
shit
a- if I had
what
a-
Dave Meltzer
if I-
says.
listen.
And he doesn't watch New Japan either. This guy is made for
Let's
Vince.
just do this.
Made
1 to
for
5.
Vince.
I'm going to do this 1 to 5.
Yeah, sure.
Mike skills.
Oh, he's a fucking 10. He's not a 5.
Come on. Mike skills.
He's a 5.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Back of the baseball card.
He hasn't done shit.
Okay.
He's
Fair enough.
He's incomplete.
Matt skills.
He's serviceable as a 3
It
out of 5.
factor.
It factor, he's a 5. He has such an it factor. My God, the guy's got such an aura. I'm sorry. He does. He's a douche. He's great at it. He's the guy that you strangle on the golf course, with scarf included. You strangle him. You get in an argument with that guy every day when you're at the golf course. Like, that's my fucking hole. Get the fuck out of here. There he is right there. Maxwell Jacob Freeman. And then he insults you and your family with a straight face. And you just want to murder him. He's got that face. That face is like, someone kick me. He's excellent, dude. He's just made for it.
I'm big on sustainability, Pharaoh, and
Okay.
I feel he's not sustainable.
What if Vince tweaks him, like you said, and he's into it? Do you realize what this could be? Do you realize how great this could be? I would jump on this. But again, though, what I don't like about this is if he's really under contract till 2024, can I ask you this as a businessman?
Yeah, go ahead.
How does he get to Vince before 2024? How's he getting there? Because if there is any reality to what he just said, he just begged Tony Khan to fire him. It's clear he wants to go work for Vince McMahon. How does he get there before 2020? That's a year and a half from now.
Well, we discussed it. If you're Khan and this is really going on, you have a hard decision to make. Do you keep dragging him out there every week because he's drawing? Again, I don't even know if he's drawing ratings.
We
It's
don't
not
even
doing
know.
anything, right?
I think he's got a huge...
Or do you put him on ice?
If I'm fighting with him for real, his shit's going on ice. They just scrubbed him, too. I mean, he just got scrubbed by Goldberg. Wardlow, whatever he is.
Again,
well, at least scrubbed
as
him for the
far
match.
as the whole setup
squash.
from him not showing up to the event,
Right.
to getting
The plane
scrubbed,
ticket that he was going to leave.
I got to tell you,
Well done.
whoever wrote this,
Well done.
AEW, as much as I don't like them, props.
You would almost
Unbelievable.
think that coming off the heels of the Sasha Naomi walkout, that somebody sat behind the scenes, someone who really knew what they were doing and studied the art of the work, and they just did such a beautiful job with this.
Here's an interesting thing.
Perfect.
Vince goes to Khan and says, I trade you Sasha Banks and Naomi for MJF. You doing it?
If I'm Vince McMahon, I'm doing it. If I'm AEW, I'm not doing it. I don't really... Look, and I don't mean this as a knock. I'm just stating fiscal facts. 3-4 years ago, whenever the hell it was, with that Salute Women's Revolution pay-per-view, has there been one since? No, there hasn't. Are you going to let go of your number one heel in a company that's attempting to put a real fight to Vince McMahon with their hovering around $1 million every week? You're going to let your number one heel walk
Well, I'll challenge
for
you on
Sasha Banks and Naomi?
I'll challenge
and
you
Naomi, to me, is a throw-in. It's like,
9 out of 10 people. I'm
No knock on her ability, but that's just how I
I'm going to
see
run
it.
a test real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jared, you got the mic on?
Yes.
Do you know who Sasha Banks is?
Not until I started producing this show.
Okay, that's fair. Be
Okay.
honest. Stay honest with
That's
us.
fine.
That works, bro.
Okay. My point I was trying to make, and I guess I was wrong, is that I would say 9 out of 10 people on the street know who Sasha Banks is.
I don't believe that. No, I don't. I believe 9 out of 10 people on the street know who The Rock is, but I don't believe that 9 out of 10. I believe 2.
Do you think more
out
people
of 10 know who
Gotta remember, Sasha
is.
Banks is in
Dude, Sasha
the
Banks.
the Boba Fett series or whatever the hell it is too.
Damn do. Again, it's a segregated, audience there.
Yeah, but you got a wrestling audience, you got a Star Wars audience, right? At some
That's
point,
wonderful. That's great, but it's not The Rock. He's the biggest star in Hollywood.
the more people know Sasha Banks than know MJF.
Yes.
So
Currently, yes.
if Sasha Banks came to AEW and they promoted it,
I think it would, okay, with the names that are in that company, I don't think it would hurt them, but I don't think it would launch them. Do you understand what I'm saying? However, I do think this, if Vince McMahon takes MJF and they can work together and they are able to effectively present him, the WWE just got their number one heel for the next 5 to 7 years. I think it's a steal for the WWE.
let's not forget
Absolute steal.
Sasha Banks and
Quite
Charlotte
honestly.
Flair steel cage match Monday Night
Right.
Raw 8 years ago
Right.
drew like 5 million people. Or something
You know
ridiculous,
why?
right?
There's that last name of the great, and we've been singing the praises for, you know what? Women will come and go from the WWE. Charlotte Flair is the greatest wrestler in women's wrestling ever. So to me, it's like, hey, remember when San Martino wrestled Hansen? When San Martino wrestled this guy and that guy? It's San Martino. The magic of San Martino.
Barbara says bring back Adrian Street. That gimmick would kill today.
I'd like to see that. Why not?
Really?
Sure, why not? If it's done right. But whoever did it right besides Adrian Street. And I like the way Adonis did his thing. So everybody lay off Adrian Adonis. I thought he was great.
All right, we got about 1 minute left. We're going to call it a night. I want to thank everybody for joining us again. We enjoy you guys coming in on Thursday. Got some upcoming shows. I think we got Greg Valentine coming into studio. We've got Tommy Rich and Tony Atlas and Ronnie together. And then Ronnie Garvin also will be in studio.
Back, huh?
And we'll have some more guests being announced shortly. Keep promising Chris Lee. I will bring, oh my God.
What?
Dave wrote R.I.P. Mike Monte.
What the heck? You look fine. Are you feeling okay?
That's kind of scary.
Should I check your blood pressure?
Scary.
No, he's saying you're ripped.
Oh, I got it.
Don't worry about that there.
Good conversation.
Yeah, man.
MJF did a great job.
Oh, yes, he did.
I just hope they don't blow it.
Yeah.
Catch This Week in Pro Wrestling on Fridays at 7:30. Catch us every Thursday. And some other shows will be back on network. We had some producer issues, but we're bringing them back, like the Uneasy show and a couple other things. Try to join in there.
Awesome.
And let's see what we got here. Barbara says, who's buying drinks for Tony and Tommy Rich? Well, that's going to be it.
Wait a minute. Who's going out to the store to get those drinks?
Rick B says Tony and Tommy together. That's going to be
awesome.
going to be all right. It's going to be
crazy.
all right. I guess Thunderbolt Patterson, bring him in. I think he's dead.
What?
Isn't he dead?
Yeah, I don't think they will be able
By the way, I got to tell you, I'm sorry. I have this argument with Tony all the time. He tells me that Thunderbolt Patterson was one of the greats, and I'm like, I never got it.
No.
When he was, with that stupid eye that used to go to the right,
I mean,
that wandering eye.
There might have been a time early in his career when he was pretty well pushed, but what are we talking, early 60s maybe? I don't notice.
I never got the Thunderbolt Patterson thing. I never got it at all.
I never got it either. I agree with you on that one.
Remember his eye used to drift as he's doing the interview. You didn't know if he was talking to Shivani or the crowd.
Shawn Michaels, huh?
All right, well, I want to thank you guys for joining Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Enjoy your weekend. This is Mike Monte.
This is the Pharaoh, and until next week, later.